yards have also taken a major dip the previous 2 seasons after signing a historic contract extension. This prompted the Athletics' Bob Sturm to ask if it's time for Dallas to move on from their star running back. He writes that the Cowboys, quote, may have to do something they seldom do around here, own a mistake and move on. Shannon, do you agree?
No, I don't agree, Skip, and I get it. Zeke has not played particularly well this season, but when you take Dak Prescott out, Tyron Smith is out, Lyle Collins is out, Zach Collins has missed a game, and the offensive line isn't very good. And everything, like you said, the running back is a dependent position. It's dependent on the offensive line being able to get him to the line of scrimmage. Skip, you saw some of those plays in Pittsburgh. Zeke get the ball, and they're already tackling him. And so for me, Zeke is low-hanging fruit. It's easy to do that. Zeke. He has the historic contract. But I want you to know, I wanted somebody to tell me, do they believe Amari Cooper? Now, Amari Cooper is in line salary-wise with DeAndre Hopkins and Julio Jones. Do we believe he's played to that level? Do we believe he's played to a Devontae Adams level? Do we believe he's played to a Stephon Diggs level? It's not even close.
Okay, but he wasn't before he got his money. Zeke was playing at a high level before he got his money.
But that's my thing. Okay, Zeke went to the Pro Bowl last year. Zeke was what, 4th in rushing? Okay, he's having a down year. So after one down year, you move on. So, I mean, there are a lot of guys, Skip. D-Law has 8 sacks in 25 games. Jalen Smith, is he living up to that contract extension? It's because Zeke has the bigger of the names. He's the lowest of the hanging fruit. He's the easiest guy to point out and says, well, you need to move on from that. Now, sure, you could do that, but I think it would be a sizable dead cap hit. I believe probably they might be asked Zeke to come in and sit down and have a conversation and redo the contract. But I don't think they should move off of Zeke after one down year. Now, he could turn it around and end up going over 1,200 yards, and it works out, but Skip, I don't really think it's realistically to cut Zeke right now because that's going to be too much. And if you're trying to sign, the last thing you need, Skip, is to have $14, $15 million of dead money, and you're trying, you believe they're going to franchise Dak again and have to pay him $38 million. You're going to pay a guy, you have a guy counting $14 million, $15 million against your cap, Skip, and he's not even on your roster. So for me, I believe they give it another year. Hopefully everybody comes back intact. Tyron Smith is getting on up there in age, Skip. That's a lot of collisions on his body. How well will Lyle Collins come back off of that hip surgery? Zach Martin's getting on up there in the years, Skip. So it's going to be, I believe you run it back. You give Zeke an opportunity. Now, you might have to come in and say, Zeke, look, we got to put some of this money in incentives. 100-yard games. We get to the playoff, you lead the league in rushing or whatever, that big Pro Bowl, things of that nature, Skip. But I don't believe they should just cut Zeke after one down season.
So, I first guessed this. I was way, way, way ahead of the curve, and yet this has become, for me, as a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan, the single most painful story I have been forced to watch in my life watching my beloved Dallas Cowboys. I still love Zeke. I still have the highest hopes for Zeke. I thought when Dak went down, this is your time to shine, take this team over as a leader and a playmaker. You be the bell cow. You be the driving force of this team. And Shannon, I keep telling you what my eyes tell me, and it's all wrong. And the numbers keep telling me it's going nowhere but south. So let's look at just the declining yards per game. His rookie year, he dominated this league. He averaged 109 yards a game. Then it fell to 98 the next year, 96, not bad. Those 3 led the league. And then it fell all the way to 85 last year after he got his money. And I kept telling you, it looks like he's running in Cabo sand after he came back from Cabo San Lucas. This year, it's plummeted all the way to 64 yards a game. 64 yards a game. He's averaging 3.8 yards a carry. That ranks 40th in the National Football League.
Well, that's what's concerning, Skip. Yeah. It's not the yardage because they're falling behind so much, so you're not going to get the carries. It's when he does get the carries, he's still under 4 yards per carry.
Okay, and Pro Football Focus, as we speak, ranks Ezekiel Elliott the 54th best running back in pro football. I would like to think he's better than that, but they're just going off what their grades tell them, and he's all the way down to 54th.
Right.
So Monday night, I had to sit and watch that game. and I watched Dalvin Cook, who is now leading this league at 119 yards per game. I had to watch him hit holes like lightning. Well, I'd just be like, whew. Zeke hits holes right now like a flickering light bulb that is about to burn out. You know, the light bulb that starts to flicker and it's about gone? That's how Zeke hits the hole. Zeke is now making the backup running back for the Cowboys, Tony Pollard, look like Dalvin Cook, because when Pollard comes in, it's like, oh, a breath of fresh air, a burst. Who knew? We haven't seen that. And what happened against Pittsburgh? The last time we saw the Cowboys play, they're obviously on a bye week until next Sunday. And I saw Tony Pollard twice against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the #1 ranked defense coming into that game. I saw him tear off 2 20-yard gains. I think we have those if we want to see them. This is like, what? Where did that come from? Would you believe that Zeke has carried the ball 150 times and has no 20-yard runs? And here's another one. Was it the blocking? Was it his burst? Was it his ability just to get outside quick enough that he actually was able to meet the hole while it was open?
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe Tony Pollard could do that, getting the ball 25, 30 times a game?
I doubt it, but as a changeup, it's shocking to my eyes and a sight for very sore eyes to say, wow, look at that. So what have we also seen from Ezekiel Elliott? Well, I hark back to the Thursday night game at Chicago last year. It was a turning point game for a team that I still had the highest hopes for. And Jerry said after the game, on the flight up, the coaching staff, I'm sitting with the coaches, they were dead set that we were going to win this game.
What they was going to say?
It's Mitchell Trubisky at Chicago on Thursday Night Football. And what happened in the second quarter, they're down 10-7, and Zeke rips off his longest run of the year. It went 32 yards. And then he carried for 4 yards, and then he carried for 2 yards, and he waves out. I'm gassed. You're gassed? We had Eric Dickerson here, who I think is the greatest running back who ever played. And he's like, the last thing I'm going to be right then is gassed.
Right.
I want to take it home because it's my drive. I set up this drive. I'm going to finish this drive. I want pay dirt.
Right.
And Zeke is waving out, and I'm saying, what are you doing? And you know what happened? Pollard comes in cold, and he can't go anywhere, and then Dak has to toss it to the fullback on a 3rd and 5, and it goes nowhere, and then they miss a field goal. And that was the end of the game for them. It went south from there. And then this year, the Eagles game, you realize my team led 9-7 at halftime with Ben DiNucci at quarterback.
Yeah.
So this is Zeke's game. This is where Shannon Sharpe would say, you've been pounding your side of the desk. Zeke.
Yeah.
The offense has to run through Zeke. So they say, okay, Zeke, it's your turn. This is opening drive of the third quarter, and he goes 9 yards and 6 yards and 8 yards, and I'm thinking, that's 2016 Zeke. Maybe he just came back.
Yeah.
Maybe he's here to stay. And I look up, and Tony Pollard's in the game.